What's going on, everybody? Team Fanatic. Hope y'all are having a great day. This is my reaction to Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. What a game it was. Carolina beats Vegas 4-2. They take the all-important 3-2 series lead heading back to Vegas. Here are my just thoughts on this game right here. I said this in my Game 4 reaction that, Game 5 is a must-win. And for both teams, I knew, and I think we all knew that they were going to come out initially and have some really good starts here. Dorofeyev, he continues his great play, as does Jordan Staal. Both those guys scoring. Excuse me. Give credit to Dorofeyev, but Jordan Staal. Again, I said this in my last reaction that give him the Conn Smythe. I think he got maybe 2 goals throughout the first 3 rounds, but this is where it counts really here in the final, and he has been absolutely amazing, scoring 6 goals in the first 5 games of the Cup final. Amazing stuff. So it was 1-1 going into the second period. Now the second period throughout this series has been owned by Vegas. I think the stat was Vegas outscored Carolina 9-1 in the second period. But here it was the Canes. It was them that were able to get out to a big time lead right here and extend that lead. You had a Svechnikov scoring on the power play, and then Sebastian Aho scoring with little time left to make it 3-1 Canes. Mainly, I feel because Vegas, they were getting into the penalty box. They were having just all this trouble right here. I think it was Lazan first, the former Predator, and then Braden McNabb, back-to-back penalties right there. And, I've said this in my other reactions that, penalties like that, just when you take those, not only do you have to, defend those, but on the flip side of that, your team is unable to really do anything in terms of their own offense. So Vegas, they had a long time. They spent a long time inside of the penalty box. So Carolina had a 3-1 lead, feeling pretty good going into the third period. But as we all know throughout the series, third period leads aren't always safe. In this case, it was, again, mainly due to the fact that Vegas were getting into penalty trouble. Mark Stone had a 4-minute major right here. I will give him his due, though. It was an unintentional high stick. I mean, clearly he would, I don't think he was looking where that stick was going. But, you have to call those. Because, if you let that slide, what else will the refs let slide, So they have to call that right there. So, again, that was just less time for Vegas for them to be able to score. I will say in the last 5 minutes, Vegas, they really continued to push, and they did score. Dorofeyev, again, getting his second of the game, but Svechnikov, he was able to score also in that in the third period. Again, on the power play, to make sure that Carolina to really seal off that game. So yeah, that would do it. Canes, once again, they win. They take that all-important 3-2 series lead heading into Vegas. It could be a very interesting Game 6. I saw the press conference with John Tortorella, and he was very confident. He was like, oh yeah, we will be back here. Look, if Vegas does force a Game 7, which I did say Carolina would win in 7, what I will say is that, Vegas, they cannot get into the penalty box. They have to enforce more shots right here. If they get back to their form like they did in the second period, prior to this game, if Vegas has second periods like they did in the first 4 games and not get into the penalty box and are able to finish shifts, get on the forecheck, get shots on goal, Vegas can tie up this series. I mean, we've seen it. Vegas, they are no slouches, no siree, and their backs are against the wall right here. For Carolina, they might have Vegas, though, all figured out right here, because it seems like Carolina, they're able to get more shots on goal. And Brandon Bussey as well. He's continuing his great play. So I feel like, you know what, if Carolina, if they dominate the first 2 periods, I think they'll be able to seal it off. If Vegas gives them more of a fight and stay out of like the penalty box, I do like the Golden Knights to take it in Game 6 and then force it back to Carolina for Game 7. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But fans, that's going to do it for this one. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all did enjoy, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and you can join our Fanatic Army. And honey, salutes to all of you, as always, and I hope all of you have a great day.